Thank you all for attending. I wanted to just spend a few moments talking about the power and flexibility of battery-free automated guided vehicles, or AGVs, in an assembly line conveyance application powered by inductive power transfer. And really, it's the story of how you can change your conveyance without losing your shirt. Or expressed in other terms, it's how you can get back your holidays and spend them with your family, friends, and loved ones rather than in an industrial environment. I'd like to just spend a couple minutes sharing with you my story. It's the story of a traditional conveyance installation during a Christmas shutdown. A Christmas story, if you will. And there's probably a number of you in the room that have similar experiences or similar stories. Maybe we could compare notes or horror stories after the presentation. But this one started out with management agreement and buy-in on the plan. A plan that involved and included a lot of steel, about 250,000 pounds of steel. Lots of tools and equipment, 10 to 12 heavy-duty lifters like Brodersons with 30 to 40,000 pound lifting capacity, 10 to 12 fork trucks, high capacity 5 and 10 ton forklifts and high-lows, lots of scissor lifts and man lifts, and then a whole host of hand tools, power tools, etc. All told, somewhere in the range of $250,000 to $500,000 worth of tool and equipment that were lined up to be on site during the demolition and installation. In order to do this, of course, we needed lots of people. Over 100 millwrights and iron workers, another 25 to 30 electricians, 25 to 30 pipe fitters, and a number of controls engineers and controls technicians. But all in all, we had a good plan. Well implemented, well scheduled process, and we were ready to go. Well, this brought us to stage one. In talking with the customer, it was understood that really there's only a couple times a year that you can make significant changes to your conveyance. That being your Christmas shutdown period and the July shutdown period. So we decided that we would pull ahead some work. Why wait? So this involves some additional conveyance, additional drives and motors and gearboxes, replacing and upgrading those, brakes, and some new IT infrastructure. And of course, to accomplish this, we have more steel, more tools and equipment, and more people. But everything's good, we're ready to go. Until we get to stage two. At this point, we arrive on site and we're ready to do our shutdown work. And we find issues. Some of the last minute additions are incorrect. We have components that are incomplete or incompatible. And so now we need more of everything. And everybody's working hard, trying to create order from chaos, but it's a challenge. Then we have some additional struggles, like, well, apparently, the late December time frame is a great time to hunt white-tailed deer in Kansas. So we have a site superintendent that disappears for a few days. Then there's the alarming discovery of a significant amount of lead-based paint in the header steel. So now we got to bring in the hazmat crew, performing lead abatement. That means one of the areas where we're doing our work is off limits for about 4 shifts, 4 precious shifts during this Christmas shutdown. But it's all coming together and we're doing all right till we get to stage 3. Stage 3 is goodbye New Year's Eve. Again, everybody's working hard, everybody's doing their part, we're working around the clock. We've got folks that are hitting it hard, wandering off a little bit to catch a few hours of shut-eye, either in a quiet corner in the cafeteria or in the car in the parking lot. And we're working hard to create and maintain order from chaos. And we're doing it, but it's coming at great cost. Great cost by every metric. Physically, emotionally, financially, mentally, and I'd even suggest to you that it came at a spiritual cost. Well, finally, January 2nd rolls around, as it always does, and everything is up and operational. You could call it a Christmas miracle. But you've spent twice as much money as you anticipated. Everybody is weary, exhausted, beat down, and morale is pretty low. I'd like to share with you a different kind of conveyance, a different way, a better way, a conveyance system that has a simpler, less risky, quicker installation. What I'm showing here is the installation of our test track at our facility in Plymouth, Michigan. In order to install it, you cut a couple small channels in the floor. You've got a couple types of cable. You have your power cable and your communication cable. You lay those together and you clip them. Take that assembly, put it in the shallow channel in the floor, about 3/4 of an inch wide, 3/4 of an inch deep. Epoxy over it, sand it smooth, and you're done. Your conveyor is installed. No more do you have tons of steel. You take your control panel that's already been tested and proven out off-site, not during mission critical shutdown period, connect that and put your AGVs in place. This is showing our test track in Plymouth. Every AGV that we do is proven out completely at our facility before the shutdown period. So when they arrive at your facility, they're running within an hour or two. So we prove out all of the safeties, all of the functionality, all of the features. Matt here is showing the safety feature on the front edge of the AGV. If its path is impeded, it stops. Once it's cleared, it continues. Here we're showing an installation at a customer site, heavy equipment manufacturer. 45,000 pound payload capacity, all powered inductively without batteries. Again, the collision detection. Interface to additional automation, shown here is an automated disembark area. And each carrier, again, indexes asynchronously at the earliest convenient moment. The paths are flexible. You can have multiple lanes, multiple paths. Here we have some custom interfaces between the AGV and your product. Indexing occurs asynchronously. And then interfacing to your visual management tools, whether that's error proofing and on MES type systems. So Superior Controls has partnered with Conductix Wampler. They've developed the technology and it's been in use in Europe for decades. Major components, and I'll be happy to talk with you in more detail after the presentation. We've got a booth. It's on the northernmost aisle, right on the corner. But the major components here are a cable in the track for power delivery, a track power supply or power supplies that are capable of delivering 16 or 35 kilowatts in multiples, and then a power pickup that's located on your AGV. Each power pickup able to transfer 2.5 kilowatts of power, and it does that at 95% efficiency. So why IPT? Well, I can share with you some of the advantages that our customers have realized, some of the advantages that we've seen. Wireless power transmission, and it does so efficiently and in high power capacity. Again, 2.5 kilowatts per pickup. You can use that for conveyance, for tooling that is attached to your conveyance, or ancillary equipment. You can use it for battery charging stations, for offline operations. When you have wireless energy delivered like that, there's a lot of uses. Your paths, again, are variable and asynchronous. So you don't have the coupling and decoupling that you would have with a chain-based solution, which is typically a power and free. The other advantage is that you can have a combination of asynchronous stop station assembly stations, as well as continuously moving assembly areas. In order to do that with a chain, again, you'd need a number of chains and a lot of infrastructure that comes at a significant cost. When you make this investment, 90% of this capital investment is above ground and it's transportable. If you look at a chain-based solution, it's somewhere in the range of 35% that you're going to salvage. The cost to demo and salvage that is significant. So if you were to relocate this, the only thing you would leave behind would be the cable in the floor. The end result is a work environment that is safer, cleaner, quieter, and as we all know, when you have a safe, clean work environment, your quality inherently improves. As far as the floor work that's required, it's very simple. Just a couple of shallow, narrow channels in the floor, lay the cable in, and you have a nice, smooth finish. No trip hazards, no areas with pits or troughs or trenches that are going to accumulate dust, dirt, grime, and debris, or, again, cause hazards to your operators. The installation is quick and easy, and it can be modified very simply. The installation at our facility occurred over a weekend. No longer do you have hundreds of people, thousands or even hundreds or thousands of tons of steel. No longer do you have all of the overhead work and an infrastructure that is permanently attached to your facility. Your maintenance and downtime is significantly reduced. When your chain-based conveyor fails, your entire line is shut down. If you do have a component level failure on an AGV, you can take that offline and everything else will continue to run. Beyond that, the maintenance required is minimal, whereas with a traditional chain-based solution, again, you have lots of steel touching lots of other steel, a lot of wear points, and quite frankly, a significant portion of downtime is spent in repairing and replacing existing components on conveyance systems. If you compare this to a battery AGV solution, you've got a lot of infrastructure that you have to dedicate it toward your batteries, whether it's storing them, maintaining them, charging them, additional AGVs that are sitting idle in a charging station, much better utilization, significantly less maintenance and downtime. And it's a technology that can be easily integrated with your existing systems. Whether you have a skillet-based system, an overhead power and free, inverted power and free, everything will work together well in a well-integrated solution. So in short, we're talking about a conveyance system that is intelligent, chain-free, battery-free. So it'll allow you to get your holidays back and even keep your shirt. Any questions?